Have you ever looked out the window of your plane and seen something that shouldn't be there? A flicker of a shadow, a face in the clouds, or worse, something inside the plane itself. Tonight, on this Halloween special of Scary Stories Animated, fasten your seatbelts and switch off your logic, because what you're about to hear are terrifying tales of mid-air nightmares, ones that never made it to the news, but lived on through whispered confessions. This isn't just another flight. This is a nightmare on a plane. It was Flight 309 from Boston to Denver. Passenger count 178, but according to the flight log, there should have been 177. An older man in 23A noticed something strange. The seat next to him, 23B, was empty, but the seatbelt was buckled. Every time he dozed off, he'd wake to feel someone brushing against him. The flight attendant swore no one was assigned to that seat. At cruising altitude, turbulence hit hard. Oxygen masks dropped. Panic followed. But the man, he just sat frozen. He saw someone, or something, clutching the empty seatbelt as if terrified. When the plane landed, 23B was wet, as if someone had just vanished. No one believed him, until the flight attendant checked the manifest again and found a note scribbled at the bottom. Passenger 23B died midair, 1984. On Halloween night, Flight 666 was cleared for takeoff from Reykjavik, Iceland, heading to Toronto. The plane's nickname? The Phantom Jet. Captain Mikkelsen was a legend, known for his calm under pressure. But that night, he wasn't himself. Halfway across the Atlantic, he heard voices coming through the cockpit radio. Not air traffic control, but whispers in Icelandic, ancient, guttural. He began to sweat, repeating, "They're back." The co-pilot said he saw the captain's reflection in the windshield, grinning at him. But the captain wasn't smiling. The plane began a steep descent before autocorrection kicked in. They landed safely, but Captain Mikkelsen was gone. The door to the cockpit was locked from the inside. To this day, his body was never found. They retired Flight 666 after that night. On a red-eye flight to Tokyo, a flight attendant noticed a child slipping into the rear lavatory, alone. Hours passed. No one came out. They knocked, called security, and finally forced the door open. Empty. No window. No vent. Nothing. Passengers said they'd seen the same child walking up and down the aisle earlier, clutching a teddy bear, face never visible. One passenger took a photo, but when he checked it, the child's face was a skull. That lavatory was sealed shut for the rest of the flight. Maintenance later claimed it was welded from the inside. Flight 112 was en route from New York to London when a violent storm hit. Lightning surrounded the plane. Screams echoed, then silence. Radar showed no storm. Weather control said skies were clear. The plane vanished for 17 minutes. When it reappeared, all clocks on board were behind. Exactly 17 minutes. The strangest part? All passengers had blood under their fingernails, as if clawing something. None of them remembered a thing, except for one child who said, "We were in the sky, but we weren't alone. The clouds had eyes." A late-night flight to Sydney boarded one final passenger, a pale woman in black. Her boarding pass was blank. She said nothing, sat silently in row 8. But every time someone passed her, they'd feel nauseous. A couple tried to change seats. Their eyes bled. A priest on board said she wasn't human. The flight made an emergency landing. Police boarded and found row 8 empty, but every seat around her, frozen, icy. Security footage later revealed no one had boarded after row 7, but she was in every shot, smiling. In 1997, Flight 217 took off from Dubai and disappeared over the Indian Ocean. 25 years later, in 2022, it landed in Karachi. No one aged. The passengers were confused, thinking they'd only flown for 8 hours. The pilot said the sky turned red and a shadow enveloped the plane. All passengers were quarantined. The government claimed it was a hoax, but one leaked audio clip from the cockpit emerged. A voice distorted saying, "You weren't supposed to leave. What would you do if your next flight became your last memory?" Tonight's journey ends here, but the sky holds more secrets than you'll ever know. If you enjoyed these terrifying tales of scary plane stories and want more Halloween horror animation, Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Fly safe if you can.